About 12 years ago, wearing my antique dealer's hat, I was at a car boot fair and I bought some quite nice things. And on my way out, I saw a very old metal detector. I'm guessing it was from the 1970s. It was 50p and I bought it. And I took it home and I unloaded all the bits and pieces I'd bought. And I took out my metal detector, my new metal detector, found some batteries for it, and went out into the garden. And it was broken. It was so broken that it beeped until you went over something. Then it stopped beeping. Anyway, I soon worked out that this was the way it operated. And after about 5 minutes, I found a little coin. And it was a Victorian farthing. And I was completely hooked. So I say that was about 12 years ago. I'm not using that detector today, even though I do still have it. I often say to people when they start, God, I hope you don't find gold too early on, because you won't do anything else for the foreseeable future. Gosh, well that was really quite deep. And I don't know what it is, but it's certainly old, some sort of bronze thing, very decorative. It's not much to look at, but it's a lot better than 99% of the stuff that we do find when we're metal detecting. Ah, rats, it's a bottle top. That is a bottle top. Ah, rats. Rifle case, they're going to fool you all day. Well, that's why it was a bit scratchy, just a tiny bit of lead. Someone's very hot already. I use a machine called an XP Deus, and I use it without a remote control or any sort of readout. That really works for me. It means you have to rely completely on your ears, but it has the added bonus of you being able to detect and not be distracted by bits and pieces. You can really switch off and think about all sorts of things. I've said it before, to be a good detectorist, you have to have an open mind. And I believe that if you're looking at stuff and you're looking at numbers and you're looking at lines and all the rest of it, your mind isn't perhaps as clear as it should be. It also gives you a lot of time to think. And this is what led me to doing this video, is why do we metal detect? Why is it such an addictive hobby? And it's not all about valuable items and finding priceless treasure, but I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't about that to a degree. Well, I was not expecting this, but I was thinking about it, because I do watch people complaining they don't find hammered coins in certain places, and I must admit I've been on these fields a lot and I haven't found any hammered coins, but I was just convinced it's not to say that they're not here. And this sounded so faint that I honestly thought it was a tiny wisp on the end of a bit of coke. I've been finding very small bits of coke, so very deep wispy signals with just a little squeak, which is a bit jumpy. I've been ignoring. This was a little squeak, it was jumpy, but not quite jumpy enough. I could just get enough every time I crossed it to make it warrant digging. And a lot of you have been saying I really do need the remote. I really don't need the remote. The remote would not have picked this up. In fact, I'm sure my ears would have picked it up better than the remote. The remote would not have given a line, the remote would not have given numbers. It's on the edge of my spade. Rant over, by the way. I do actually have a remote. I need it so I can be able to listen to people while I'm teaching, because I can, with the remote, it means I can hear what they're hearing at the same time. But I've tried it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think I need it. I've hit it, I think. I think it's a love token. It's been bent like that. Do you see the Z shape or the S shape? Oh wow, absolutely wonderful. Okay, maybe it's not hammered, it might be milled, but It doesn't matter. It's silver. And it's a coin. And it is... Okay, it's not hammered. I got too excited, but it is early mill silver. It's a William III sixpence made into a love token. Right, not hammered, but good enough for me. Silver in these fields. And that's great in a way, because it's just something a little bit different, something that we can take home, something that we can research, something that we can learn about. My history, my English history, has got 40 times better from metal detecting. I learnt very little English history at school, and the subjects that we were taught were so boring. I remember doing the Irish question from 1868 to 1886 or something. I mean, come on. And bits of the Industrial Revolution. From finding bits and pieces from Celtic times onwards, you just learn so much. If you want to, if you don't have to, but it's just fascinating. It's lovely to be able to bring something straight out of the ground and go, oh, that's a George III coin, or oh, that's a Roman brooch. I wouldn't have known any of that 10 years ago. In fact, I think researching is definitely 50% of the hobby. Definitely. It's just so, and then by researching, if you discover that what you have found is perhaps rather rare or unusual, I mean, it just makes it the more worthwhile. I started doing these sections, which I call the HQ sections, about a year ago, and part of it was to illustrate the fact that detecting is not obviously about just digging holes and finding nice things, if we're lucky. It's about cataloguing everything, researching things, learning new things. And the amount I've learned since I've metal detected of English history and social history is extraordinary. I never would have imagined it. As I said earlier in the video, what I learned at school was next to nothing, and what we did learn was very boring. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at this sixpence. Not exactly find of the century, I agree, but something extremely interesting all the same, especially from a social history aspect. I knew nothing about love tokens, if that's indeed what they are. It is a bit of a bone of contention whether they are actually bent in the purpose of being a token of affection from someone, a man, or I suppose a girl, to the other half. But they're certainly bent on purpose, there's no doubt about that. They make a very clear S shape. But as I said, I knew nothing about these before I found one or two and looked into it, and they are really interesting things. They date to, well, apparently they could go back to Roman times, and they're not just found in silver. There are copper ones, and also I believe that the odd gold one is found. You were obviously a very generous lover if you were giving your sweetheart bent gold coins. Anyway, the reason they believe that they were bent is once they were bent, they obviously couldn't really be used as currency. And so also quite often the coins are quite smooth and worn down, hence again making them fairly invaluable. From what I've read, if your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever took this in the way it should have been accepted, she kept it. Otherwise, she threw it away. And apparently, a lot are found on the foreshore of the Thames by mudlarkers because they were actually thrown into water. They may even have been thrown in as a sign of devotion in some sort of religious context. Anyway, they seem to have hit their heyday in the reign of William III, and this is what this one dates to. I can clearly see Guillermus on one side and his face, and there's the sort of shields on the other side in the shape of a cross. Here are a couple of William III sixpences, which is what they should look like before they're bent. And here is one which may be a love token, but looks to me just to be a bit smashed up, not folded on purpose. I thought I had a load in this in this little cabinet, which I keep the smaller bits and pieces that don't really merit going into a proper cabinet. But again, I look through these occasionally and find things that obviously meant nothing to me at the time, or I didn't know what they were. And the more I research stuff, the more I look through these old drawers of stuff and find something that, oh gosh, that's part of a Saxon brooch, or that's part of a Roman hairpin, or nail clippers or something. Not clippers. Nail cleaners. So again, the more time you invest in this hobby, the more you learn. And you will find things out of the ground, know exactly what they are, which you wouldn't have done originally. I'm not going to bang on about the sixpences for too long. It's not that sort of video. But I do want to show you this one, which I'm really proud of. This is quite an early one. This is an Elizabethan one, Elizabeth I. I can clearly see her on one side, and the date is 1581. I think that makes it Elizabeth, or is it James? I think it's Elizabeth. Anyway, that's what that is. That's clearly been bent for a reason. It's very S-shaped. So that's the research side of things. And a side which most of us really enjoy doing. And we're fortunate to be in a place where we do find this sort of history to research. And I think most of us in Europe really do appreciate how lucky we are being able to do this hobby where we are, because of the history we literally have on our doorstep. But I get a lot of correspondence with those of you in Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, saying, you know, that they love the hobby, but of course, you know, there's just not the general array of finds that we get in Europe. And I do think that's really tough luck. But as I said, I don't think we take it for granted what we have here. And I'm not sure if I've answered our question or not as to why we metal detect. I think if I've been completely honest, it is about finding lovely things, and to an extent it's about finding valuable things. There's nothing better than finding something really, really wonderful. It's a Celtic gold coin, and I haven't found one of these in ages. I don't know which one it is. I'll have to look it up. Bonifacius the 8th. I mean, crikey, I mean, that's almost museum quality. I don't find that many rings. Oh. Well, it looks like a finger ring. It's got design on it. I'm really hoping it is. That will make my day. And I think the fact that we just love being outside, especially if the weather's nice and you've got your dog with you, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if you don't find anything, and all those times when we're not finding anything just makes finding the good stuff even sweeter. I really think that's what it boils down to. I've had some really lovely days when I really have found next to nothing, and it's been really, really enjoyable all the same. It's nice detecting in pretty places, there's no doubt about that. There's certain places I've stopped going to because I just don't really enjoy the vibe that it gives. So thank you very much for watching all that. If you're still with me, thank you for supporting the channel. And thanks for subscribing and commenting and all the rest of the things you do. It really makes, you know, all the hard work at putting these videos together worthwhile. All the crops have been harvested, as you can see. They're going to be turned over fairly soon. We'll have some really good videos coming out shortly. And see you soon.